Hey everybody, Mystic Eve here at Center of Mystic Arts in Costa Rica. This is a space that I hold for people of like mind. Those who are seeking universal truths, who are interested in esoteric studies, who want to explore magic, divination, art, all of those things, and especially the inner child. There has been a lot of stuff going on, you guys. So I also am a very sensitive empath who can feel the planets very deeply. Now, I always have been able to do this, but I am just now really learning how to, my Saturn had to decide that I wanted to start really keeping track of all of this stuff, really diving into my birth chart and figuring out what the party looked like when I was born and how it affected me and my personality, and how I can work with that to relieve stress, relieve tension, find happiness and enlightenment and universal truths. One of the things recently that I'm really starting to understand is the what's going on here and now in the sky and how deeply I feel it, which really surprises me sometimes. It's not even a surprise more than a holy Mother Mary of God. Like, this is crazy. And now that I know what's going on with the planets, it's like so much inner knowing of, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I get it, you guys. All right, I understand. One of the strongest things everybody's talking about, Venus in retrograde. I remember when I first started to really pay attention to Mercury in retrograde. Mercury retrograde ain't nothing compared to Venus in retrograde. For me personally, wow. There's been a lot. But when I looked at the chart, there was some more stuff that I wanted to mention. One, the sun being in Sagittarius. So we have this Robin Hood sun archer that's dancing around in the center, right? He is who the party is for. He is in conjunction with Mercury. Mercury's the DJ, right? So he's the communicator, he makes the beats, he has everybody waving and dancing in the same motion, in the same rhythm. He has the mic, so he talks and he does the announcements, you know. So he's like really hip to hip with the sun right now. It's really interesting because I have this like, oh my God, this communication, reaching out and trying to be as clear as possible. Well, this Venus retrograde is happening in my third house, communication. Oh my God, right? Venus, you're going backwards. Like, you're going the wrong way. Anyway, so Venus is in conjunction with Pluto. You might have heard that in some other astrology channels as well. See, I see a conjunction. It's an energy, right? It's a vibration. It has to do with the angles that the planets are in position of. But at a party, they're like conjunctions like BFF, right? They are hip to hip going, it's a positive, or can be. I mean, they're very, very close. I guess they could be fighting. Hadn't really thought about that actually. Interesting. The swing, right? So it can be positive and it can be negative. So if it can be a BFF, they can also be really fisticuff, right? Like real close to each other. Punching. Venus being the beauty queen, she's the prom queen of the party. She's very usually sensitive. I mean, everybody's hearts, you know, our hearts are sensitive. Whether you want to be as strong and bold as you can possibly be, that's me. Nothing bothers me. Ain't nothing gonna get to me. But my Venus is in Virgo. So anyway, Pluto now in my chart is in conjunction with my sun. I really like Pluto. And at the party, Pluto's the bad guy, right? Or the bad boy, right? He's hanging out at the front door, maybe even outside of the door, leaned up against the wall, probably smoking a cigarette. Probably really can't tell if it's a girl or a guy. Very gender fluid. Wearing all black. The emo kid, right? Doesn't really quite know whether or not he wants to be a part of the party or not. He's a dwarf planet. He's an outsider. Everybody's looking at him and talking about him because he's got a bad reputation. But everybody secretly wants to get with him, right? Well, he's dancing with Venus right now at the party. Can you imagine the conversations that's going on? I mean, oh my gosh. Now, Jupiter is changing signs as well and going into Pisces, into a much stronger, like Jupiter's going into his house. He's starting to feel better. Well, he's in conjunction with the sun right now, too. So we've got some major big players at the party. We've got the DJ. We've got the guy that the party is for. And we've got the owner of the party, Jupiter. He's the biggest planet. He owns everything. He's wealth. He's abundance. Blah, blah, blah. He owns the party. He's all up in it with the sun and Mercury. And Venus is having it out with Pluto. In Capricorn. The funny goat. Now, the goat has a bad reputation too. And anytime I've done a birth chart reading for anybody who's a Capricorn, I'm like, you know, just watch some videos about some goats. Right? You'll fall in love with the goats. They're funny, they're silly, they're playful, they're energetic, and they really care for the rest of the herd. And it doesn't matter who's in the field with a goat. I've spent a lot of time with goats in horse fields. And any animal that is in the herd, that is part of the barn, is protected by that goat. So they're very much into community and the herd, right? Usually. I mean, the goats are. The animal is. So I don't want to get too much into it and have too long of a video, but the other player I wanted to talk about is Saturn. My Saturn's Leo, so I love talking about Saturn. And she is a caterer of the party. She is making sure everything has its place, all the lists, everybody has their seats, all the hors d'oeuvres are prepared and perfect, and everything is in order. She knows the music list. She is very much in control of the party. She has boundaries and limitations, and she sets goals for herself that are very strict and rigid. And, you know, she can be a little aggravating sometimes. She can be amazingly helpful at other times. I definitely have helped a lot of people heal their relationship with Saturn. Now, Saturn has some interesting things going on with her at the party. One, she's sextile with Chiron. Now, a sextile, I mean, it has the word sex in it. I couldn't get around it. A sextile is a very good, positive aspect, an energy that they have, and it's called sextile. So, the caterer of this party is having sex with Chiron, who is the shaman of the party. He's dancing around with feathers and bells. He's blowing smoke and burning incense and forcing you, not forcing, he really gets you down deep into your emotional wounds, old scars. He's like, he's gonna reset that bone whether or not it hurts. So that's kind of a hot and steamy little relationship they got going on. Well, she's also square with Uranus. Now, Uranus is the tech guy, which is why I wanted to mention him, because the internet has been all kinds of crazy for me. And I've really been getting back onto these YouTube videos. So for me, it's like this, all right, my Saturn is getting really busy, but she's not really getting along with this Uranus tech guy that controls all the lighting and the electricity and all of the social media and the internet. He's recording and videotaping, and he's the one putting the party on social media, right? Uranus. Well, he's not really getting along with the caterer, and she's like getting it on with Chiron, and Venus is getting it on with Pluto, and the sun is like getting it on with Mercury and Jupiter. So we got a lot going on, and if you didn't watch my last video, the last couple of videos, the card spread was talking about a big tsunami coming. So without further ado, I definitely need to read some cards and see what's going on and see who wants to talk. I don't even want to go into all the stuff that's going on with me. Venus. Venus. You're going the wrong way. should be getting closer to love, communicating better. I mean, you know, we should be getting that DJ talking about what's going on with Venus and Pluto. Oh, shit. It's quite a party. And I am feeling it deeply, and I'm kind of glad that I'm here at Coma alone. It always works out that way. Anything really heavy for me, I'm like, oh, good, I'm by myself. Wonderful. All right. Center, north, south, east, west. What do we got going on in the center? We've got the King of Wands. The Fire King. The passion. I mean, Jupiter's wanting to come out with this card. I mean, he's a king, right? And he is on fire. If you look at his relationship with the sun right now, that's what this card is telling me. And just to recap, I don't read normal A.E. Waite tarot cards. I read playing cards, and I guess I identify more as a soothsayer. I mean, I could be throwing bones just as easily as these cards. The only difference between this and the bones is I have more to read, okay? Same with the cards. The tarot cards are kind of more of a step up. There's more stuff to read. I like these because I like the ability to just let the downloads come in. So yeah, I'm really seeing Jupiter wanting to say a lot in the center with the sun, because he's conjunct, right? So they're very close. King of Fire makes a lot of sense. So what is he thinking about? What's in the air? What's blowing on out in the ether? Three of Swords. Well, there's Saturn right there. Saturn's on your mind, maybe. I mean, she's been on my mind. She's always on my mind. The mental structure. The last couple of readings have been telling me a lot about mastering the mind, the King of Swords. Now with the three and the Saturn and the sacred trinity and the triangle and the mind, this card always makes me think of the all-seeing eye in the triangle. And it being in the third eye position. I think this was in another spread, just, I gotta check. Yeah, no, I don't write down these. I take pictures, so I'd have to look at the pictures. I think this Three of Swords was in the same position before, recently. So yeah, she's still out there. She's still wanting to be seen and thought about. How are we going to structure our lives? And the limitation, oh my God, speaking of resources, Saturn has a lot to say with conserving the resources. I don't even want to get into all of that. Like, how are we going to redirect our human existence without destroying the planet, maybe? You know, I mean, it's going to take a lot. And, you know, I've already gotten to the point where I accept that it's a possibility that the earth doesn't make it. You know, nothing lives forever, and we will just go somewhere else, right? I mean, there's lots of other places out there. I do personally like this one. So yeah, she's speaking, you know, Saturn is a lot about death as well, so she's saying that as well. Okay, what's grounding us after being in all that Saturn energy? Whoa, the Ace of Swords. The Ace is a master. I mean, you can't get better than an ace. To master, I was just speaking of mastering the mind. To master air. And it's in the south. It's in the ground. This is, again, in the last couple of spreads, we've had air in the ground. Take flight. This is the time to really spread those wings. If you don't have your wings yet, work on them. Through dance, mantra, getting to know yourself. There's a lot of wonderful practices, yoga, out there. And because it's a sword, now we're talking about the mind as well, mastering the mind, which means, you know, there's a lot of studying to do. Well, there's that Saturn wants to talk about study. And a lot of people have had a really bad experience with studying because of the school system and how fucked up the school system is and how it has made the majority of us get heart palpitations when we think of a test, right? I don't even know if I said that word right. But a lot of stress is involved in school and being tested. But to master an art, there are tests. We will test ourselves at times. I mean, that is basically what's happening. Higher self is testing yourself. Have you learned that yet? You got that figured out yet? Let's do it again. Let's see how you do it this time. Every single time you catch a wave, you practice standing up on that surfboard, you get better and better and better. So in the east, what's coming up in this holy direction where the sun returns to us is 9 of diamonds. The 9 whispers of the hermit always, the sage, the last number that's a single digit. This is a gatekeeper. And diamonds is earth, perfected, pentacles, anything material, even money. In the east, this is really, and Jupiter's wanting to talk about this as well. I mean, Jupiter is really bright and big and abundant, and he's moving into a better position. And Pisces. Pisces is all about sacrificial love for the betterment of humanity, right? I mean, you can think about Jupiter, you can't be a hermit. You're the biggest planet. It's like he's trying to hide or something. I mean, you know. I mean, he is dancing with the sun right now. So, the hermit has got a little bit different vibe going on. But he's very much a teacher. And he's very much willing to share his knowledge for those who want to listen. I mean, this one's speaking to me a lot. Those of us, especially, who are using this platform to help heal people when, I mean, for me personally, I don't really like being around a lot of people. So this Uranian aspect of social media is helping me reach more people. If anybody starts watching my channel, that could make a difference too. Jupiter. We'll see how that goes. And, you know, you can help me out by just clicking that thumbs up, that like button, and the subscribe, you know. It helps me out if you like and subscribe with the algorithms. Nine of Pentacles, you have anything else you want to say? It's very much accumulation. No, he's just whispering, Jupiter, Jupiter. Completion of resources, holding all of the resources. What are we going to do when that abundancy comes? How we're gonna, you know, with the sun in Sagittarius, remember we got a freaking Robin Hood, right? Robin Hood steals from the wealthy and gives it to the poor. Now, I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying that I love the story of Robin Hood. Always have. The cartoon foxes, as well as the movie with the famous guy. I'm really bad at remembering actors and actresses' names. So, you know, the Robin Hood movie. Redistributing the wealth of the world. We've got these corporations right now that are, you know, they're kind of taking over. They are tyrants. We got a lot going on. So the sun in Sagittarius wants to talk about this 9 of diamonds and redistributing the wealth through, we got Saturn, through our structure and through our boundaries. Don't let them cross that boundary, man. You know? They can't take away our freedoms. I mean, they are. Slowly, slowly, slowly. But surely, they are taking away all of our rights. Separating us, alienating us, turning us against each other, feeding us crap that's horrible for our bodies, feeding us crap in the media for our minds, you know. Master our minds. And it's going to take a mastermind to redistribute this wealth. So, at the end of the day, in the West, who are we going to crawl in bed with? Well, it's a heart. And it's the 5. 5 of Hearts, Mars. Mars really likes to be cuddled. The god of war. A lot of you are like, what? That motherfucker? He don't want to be cuddled. Yes, he does. That's all he's ever wanted, even when he's covered in blood and he's fucking won the battle. He just wants a kiss, you know? Oh, the Five of Hearts. A 5 is also a number of being in between worlds. So, when you're in between the worlds, you become a bridge from one realm to another. The Antakarana, I think is what it's called, this bridge between you and the higher self. You know, it's interesting that this is hearts, which is cups, which is water, which is emotions as well. Because we talked about the tsunami of emotions, and Venus is so emotional. She is love, and what is love if it's not emotional, right? It's only water, it's only fire, it's only love. We have fire in the middle. We have air grounding us and above us. We have earth in the east and water in the west. At the end of the day, we all gotta crawl into bed with our own emotions. You know, that moon, ooh, thank God the moon has gone into Cancer, which is, my moon's in Cancer, so I feel like I'm healing right now. That moon in Gemini was intense with all of this other stuff going on for me. And this Five of Hearts, this Five of Water is whispering to me about the moon, about our reflection. You know, when you're in between the worlds, you are the mirror, the glass of the mirror. I talked about figuring out which side of the mirror you're on. Because if you stare into a mirror for so long, sometimes you forget which side you're on, and you know, you might need to go read Alice in Wonderland again, but on the other side of the mirror it gets really, really trippy. A lot to learn there, but knowing where home is important. Yeah, interesting that all that came up. Hey, Bingo, how are you doing? There's the Bingo. He's the Bingo boy. He's the Bingo boy. He's the Bingo boy. Yes. So, that basically. Hi, it's the Sophie girl. It's the little Sophie, puppy, Sophie. Cute puppy dogs. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're interested, we are on Patreon. Now, the Patreon account, I'm still working on putting in content and figuring out what kind of content I'm going to put on there. I know that I'm going to do some meditations and possibly more like vlog style stuff. And to let you know like what exactly you're supporting, well, here are the examples. But we are an esoteric art center. I do tattoo apprenticeships. So your donation goes to stuff like dog food and art supplies and rent and electricity. The stuff that we need to hold this space for others. If you want to check out our website, centerofmysticarts.com, the links are below. Also, I have journals that I have published, spiritual journals, that through reading I have really been able to go deep into, again, who I am, to know thyself. If you're interested in a good story, in a good read, they're really cheap on Amazon. #MysticEve. Other than that, I really appreciate the views and the likes and subscribes. And whether you're traveling physically or mentally, may it be in love and light. Ciao.